Hello, welcome back to the Sales Ops Effect. And today we're going to have a quick run through of win rate. What does your win rate tell you about your pipeline? This is the Sales Ops Effect, where we drive predictable growth in small to medium-sized businesses. And I'll answer that. I'll answer that straight off the bat. The win rate will tell you how big your pipeline needs to be in order for you to get your desired results. That's one of the main things that it's for. It's not like you calculate it because you want to know how efficient you're being, but its main use is to tell you how big your pipeline needs to be in the future, right? So with the percentages, the way to calculate what your pipeline should be, your pipeline size should be, is to take your goal number of how, the amount that you want to be winning, and you divide that by your win rate percentage. It's basically the reverse of the calculation to say, okay, so we have this big amount and we're expected to win 40% of it. What would 40% of it look like? You just take your goal and you divide it. You do the calculation in reverse. So that will tell you how big your pipeline needs to be. Now, you want to know how big a pipeline needs to be because you want to make sure the pipeline is big enough to sustain you. We're not going to win every single deal. We're not going to win every single deal. It doesn't matter how hard we try, you will not win every single deal. And even though we're focusing on getting the right kind of clients, to ensure that we don't have those feast and famine months, we need to make sure that our total pipeline is big enough to sustain us at any one time. Now, yes, some months, if you have the kind of services that are calendar dependent, some months are going to be better than others, but still, some deals take longer to come in. So you still want to see a general pipeline size that is fairly stable, because that's the quicker you can get that pipeline size stable, the better, because you're not going to have as many feast and famine months. You're not going to have those months where everything looks great, but oh my gosh, we don't have any money to actually pay people, you know. So a way to stabilize it is making sure that your pipeline is the size that it needs to be. And another way that you can see whether things are stable and looking good is by looking at your win rate metrics, looking at the trend to see what's actually happening and to see if that looks stable as well. So you can see it now. So we've got another 13-month trend here. I like those because we get to see our month over month and our year over year. And if the average win rate here is what, 42, 43%, you can see for yourself that that doesn't mean it's going to be the same every single month, right? So this chart is really helpful to explain to people who sales isn't their first language, let's say, what's happening, so that people don't get so shocked when you've got one month that is a 40% win rate and another month that's 50. People don't just change the goalpost based on the fluctuations month to month. And again, you can see whether, things are going in the right direction. Obviously, we want to be winning more over time, but if we were winning less over the time, if this is trending down, then that would tell us something's going on. Is it the case that we always have really low Januaries? That's great. To know we're going to have a low January, so we shouldn't expect tons of deals to come in, even if they say that they're there. If it's trending low, you can look at the loss reasons to see what's going on. And if it's trending high, why are we winning so much all of a sudden? Like, this is a good thing. We're not questioning it to change it, but if things are trending upwards, that's great. But it means you can look at your win reason and say, oh, okay, maybe let's capitalize on it. Is it because it's coming from certain directions? Okay, great. Is it because we've just gotten our ideal client profile nailed down? So actually we're going after better quality leads in the first place. What is the reason for it? Because it just gives you another way to show you what's happening so that you can capitalize on it and really focus on that, right? There's tons of ways you can look at this data to have it help you. But again, it's to tell you how big your pipeline needs to be. Because yes, tons of stuff may not close in January or February, but that doesn't mean you want your pipeline to plummet, because when you get to January or February, you're still going to be wanting to build up business to be closing in the following months. And people really forget that sometimes. Sometimes that happens to the best of us, that people just forget it. And then all of a sudden we've got these huge gaps in close ones. And we're just like, what happened? Where did it come from? You'd be able to see it from a mile out looking at all of these numbers. And at least with this, where we're looking at the trend from the last 13 months, we can look to see, okay, so what happened before? Did we do something wrong before? Is that why January was so low? Why was March so high? Can we bring some of March's highs, into February to level out that Q1 a little bit, right? So there's so many ways that this information can be really useful. And one of the main things that I want to end with here is that whatever calculation that you do use to calculate your win rate, please make sure it's the same. That might sound obvious, but I've had this conversation countless times. If the calculation for win rate changes from month to month, then you're not comparing like with like. Whatever calculation that is used, the one that is decided on, the one that is agreed, is the one that should be used throughout. If you decide, come 2025, okay, we're changing the win rate calculation, we've got new owners, whatever the reason, la, la, la. Okay, cool, great. Then you take that new calculation and you apply it to the past. You don't compare the old calculation with this new calculation just because the numbers might look better. It might seem like as if, oh, it's a quick win, it's a little bit of a white lie or whatever. No, it's not. It's not. It's just best to be honest all the way through. Otherwise, you lose data integrity. So that is the whistle-stop tour of win rates. I love them so much. You'd be surprised how often people don't actually know what their win rates are and what the differences are with their win rates between new business and expanded business. So if this is new to you, don't worry about it. It's new to a lot of people. It's new to a lot of people that have been in the field for a long time. So I hope that has helped you, given you some insight. Let me know how you calculate your win rate. I quite like using closed won divided by total closed. That's how I like it. But some people do closed won divided by all opportunities that were open within a certain period of time. I like to compare closed to closed because it shows me the end of the sales cycle. But that's just me. I might be a little bit old school. But do let me know in the comments what you like. And also, big shout out to the people around the world that are tuning into the podcast. So there seems to be a rather large community going on in California. So if you're listening from over there, thank you. Hello. I quite like it. I'll be naming some more towns and smaller areas as much as I can dig into the data as I can. So I'll be giving you more of a shout out, and I'll see who's in second and third place as well. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Why can't I speak today? Tell a friend, and I will speak to you again next week. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please look at the list of other episodes. I'm sure there's another one that can help you. See you next time.